Welcome to my video where I will show you how to address a U1510 code on a 2017 to 2019 Sierra or Silverado. In this case, I'll be working on my wife's truck, which is a 2018 Chevy Silverado. Now, for those that have been watching my other videos on my 20-year Sonoma project, this video is going to be a little bit different, but don't worry, I have received the rear suspension parts that I've been waiting for, so my next video will be back on that project. And for those that are interested and haven't watched the project before, I will try to put the playlist somewhere up here. It's my first time doing it. If I'm successful, you will see a link somewhere above my head or to the right or left side. So the U1510 code is not very descriptive, and after a quick Google search, I found that it's associated with the active grille assembly. The active grille assembly will close to help with aerodynamics at highway speeds, as well as in the colder months to help the engine get up to temperature. Now, on these assemblies, the piece that usually fails is the actuator, and you can't just buy the actuator, you have to buy the whole grille itself. And when I went to a local dealership, they were listed at over $600 Canadian. So I went online and found a genuine GM part for $400, including shipping to my door. The funny thing is that it's from the same dealer network that was listing these at over $600 if you walk into one of their showrooms. Now that I have the part in hand, let's get the truck fixed. To get started, I need to remove the plastic cover, which is held by 8 clips along the back and sides, plus 4 clips close to the grille. To remove the clips, you can use a flathead screwdriver or trim removal tool like I am using. Get under the center circle bit and pry that up. After that, you can remove the whole clip. If the center circle bit comes out, that's okay. You can still pry up on the clip and then connect the 2 pieces back together afterwards. With all the clips out, I can now take the plastic cover off. I am struggling a bit because I was tilting it, and all you need to do is lift it straight up. Now it's time to take off the grille. The grille is held on by 4 bolts and a bunch of clips. A ratchet and a 10mm socket was all that was needed to get them off. My research told me that there are tabs or nubs near the bolts on the far ends of the grille, so I used a flathead screwdriver to get under the grille and pry them up and out of the holes they were in. To make sure they don't go back in the hole, I left the screwdrivers in place. In a few grille removal videos that I saw, they stuck a large pry bar to pop off the grille, but it wasn't budging for me. My wife came out to make sure I wasn't breaking her truck and tried to help me find out why the grille wasn't popping off. I finally realized there were tabs or nubs where all 4 of the bolts were. So this is the grille, it's upside down, inside, and you can see that's the nubs that are on the 4 places that the screws are, or the bolts, and you have to make sure that they get lifted up and over the part that it sits on the truck. I didn't realize the middle ones had it as well, so that was holding me up a bit. Now it's time to disconnect the electrical connector. And what should have been an easy step, you can see that I am struggling. Eventually, I do get it off, and here's what you need to know when you are disconnecting this. So this tab you have to pull back and then press down on this gray piece as you're wiggling it free. Next up is the shutter assembly, and there are 13 bolts that need to be removed using a 10mm socket. At first, I was going to manually take them all off with a ratchet and then opted to get my impact wrench out. Once all the bolts were removed, I struggled a bit to get the assembly off, and I'll show you what was holding it up. So now I have the old part out, Here's the new part. As you can see, it's the same. This is the side that faces the engine. And a couple of things. One, when I was taking off the other part, once I got all the bolts off, I didn't realize there was these two clips that are still holding it back. So you just got to give it a bit of a yank to get that off. And as well over here, there's a plug, but no sensor. So you got to reuse the sensor that is on the old one and put on the new one. So the sensor is pretty easy to get out. You just gently pull it out of the housing, which is down here. And then to get it off the harness itself, you pull back on this gray lock, and then you can push down, and that releases it. When you're done, just clip it back in by pushing that in. Now that I have the temperature sensor swapped to the new active shutter assembly, I can put everything back together. I like to get most of the bolts on using the impact, and then come back with the ratchet to tighten them up by feel. Then I can reconnect the electrical connector. Before I put the grille back on, I want to make sure that everything is working. Since the shutters came closed, my first thought would be that when I turn the truck back on, they would run through a check and open up. As you can see here, nothing happened. I then decide that I would clear the codes and run the truck up to temperature. My hypothesis is that it would open once the truck is hot and the thermostat opens up. After about 10 minutes of revving it to 1800 RPM, the truck was at temperature and still nothing happened. At this point, I started second guessing myself that it wasn't the assembly that was faulty, but maybe the connector or wiring. With my third attempt, I drove it around, and you can see they are open, all fixed. Knowing everything is working, I put the grille back on, making sure the clips and tabs were lined up with the holes they need to go in. Light pressure popped them in, then I got the bolts back in. I put back the plastic cover and inserted the plastic clips with the center pieces up, and then I pushed them all down. Lastly, I can close the hood. It's been a few days since I've done the repair and there's no check engine light, so I'm going to call that a success. If you enjoyed this video, please like, leave a comment. And if you're wondering what I'm doing in here with my 1996 GMC Sonoma, please subscribe and check out my playlist. See you next time.